We live in a world where you have the potential to be almost anyone you desire. The issue is, this often leaves you trying to be everything to everyone, saying yes to this and that, and the fear you may miss out. It's an exhausting existence and one that leads you being nothing to nobody. But you can change that today by taking one very simple step. Welcome to the No Hustle. I am your guide and companion turn dog, and in today's video we're going to explore how to set boundaries, and indeed why you should. Because I'm not sure if you've noticed, but we live in a very busy world where hustle culture has very much taken control. It centers around a more mentality, yet those who lead the most impactful lives tend to commit to less. And setting boundaries plays a fundamental role. We're going to begin with the 4 different types of boundaries and then look at how you can set them in an effective way that serves both you and others. But before we get to any of that, please make sure you subscribe to this channel for more anti-hustling advice. And if you get some value from it, hit the thumbs up button so more people like your fine self can watch it. That all said, let's dive on in. Setting boundaries plays an essential role in a healthy, fulfilling life, but there are a few different types. So let's begin there. And the first, your personal boundaries. This represents space and privacy and how willing you are to share certain things about yourself. It's saying no to something that makes you feel uncomfortable, but it's also setting aside time for you so you can better fill your cup, and how much information you're willing to share with strangers, for instance, or maybe the online algorithms. The second type are those professional boundaries, which cover the types of conversations you're willing to have with work colleagues, whether you accept gifts from clients, and how to best balance so you're giving yourself to your work, but not to a point where it's taking away from you. The third type are those emotional boundaries that we put up to protect ourselves from harm. Sometimes they are to protect ourselves from ourselves, but often from others, so we don't get verbally or emotionally abused, guilt or ridden or anything like that. We all need to place certain emotional boundaries in front of ourselves so others can't take advantage. The fourth and final type are physical boundaries. So we may not like people to enter our personal space. We may not feel comfortable if a stranger, for instance, touches us. We all have certain boundaries around what we deem appropriate physically, and it's important to both be aware of those and embrace them. Now look, setting boundaries is one of those things that sounds easy, and indeed, in theory, it is easy, but in reality, it often isn't. Not usually because of someone else, but because of our own beliefs, our own experiences, those versions of truth that we've built up over many years of reinforcement. It's crazy when you think about how much of our life is dictated on these types of beliefs that we formed way back when. We worry about letting people down. We worry about how it may impact them. So there may be a boundary of some kind that we deem important, but we're worried to express it out of fear of what it may do to the other person. When it comes to boundaries, there's only one thing you need to know, and that this is on you. It's up to you to set these boundaries. It's up to you to define them and to appreciate why they matter. And then it is up to you to communicate them with others. That's it. It isn't on them. It isn't about what they feel. You have to take their thoughts and feelings in consideration, especially if it's someone that you love and appreciate, but your boundaries are yours to own. And you owe it to yourself, and indeed, you owe it to everyone around you, at home, those you love, your family, but also at work and your customers, those you serve, to appreciate what it is that you need, even if it doesn't necessarily align with their own boundaries. And there's some incredible things that happen when you do this. First of all, it helps you hone in on a select number of principles, values, and indeed rules that factor into your life, things that help you navigate the road ahead. But there's a couple of things in particular that I love about boundaries. One is it helps you hone in on what a hell yes looks like. One of those 100% yes, I don't even need to think about this. This is what I want to do. This is what makes sense to me. The flip side to this is once you appreciate what a hell yes looks like, you empower yourself to say no more. So everything that's not a hell yes in time becomes a no. So if it's a maybe or a kind of a, oh yeah, this might be good, but I'm not too sure, it's a no. So how do you do this? Well, there are 5 steps, and the first one is that you need to identify your priorities. Taking into account those 4 types of boundaries earlier, you need to prioritize what a hell yes looks like to you. Think about those goals, those objectives, the way of living that matters to you. It's not about other people. It's not about what matters to other folk. This is about what matters to you. The first step to all this is honing in on your priorities. Now you've prioritized what actually matters in your world. And when we talk about your world here, it's talking about coming up with priorities for your personal self-growth and well-being, relationships with family and friends, your work commitments. There are always going to be a series of tasks and aspects that matter more than others. And I always like to look at it as splitting tasks into 3 types. A 100% task, a 75% task, and a 50% task. Those 100% tasks are those hell yeses. They're the things that matter. They're the things that you do better than everyone else. So if it's to do with your work, you need to do it because no one else will do it as well as you. But also because you get joy from it. You enjoy it. This is what you consider a priority. A 75% task, on the other hand, are those things which you likely don't need to do. Maybe it's checking your inbox. Maybe it's sending some emails. Maybe it's checking up on your social media accounts. They're things that you don't necessarily like to do, nor need to do. Finally, there are those 50% tasks. Those are what fill up your cup and recharge your batteries. It could be exercise, it could be reading, it could be going for a walk with your significant other. Your life is filled with 100%, 75%, and 50% tasks. And it's about setting limits around each one of those, in particular the 100% and 50%, so you're able to recharge your batteries and focus on those priorities, and bit by bit start to say no to those in between 75% tasks that a lot of the time you just do not need to do. At this stage, you've begun to create a series of boundaries that stem your work life and everything in between. You're starting to appreciate what a priority looks like, what a hell yes looks like. Well, now it's time for step 3, to communicate these with other people. But before you start communicating your boundaries with others, you need to have an honest conversation with yourself, because some of these boundaries are internal. You need to set them for you to stick to. They're your principles, your values. They help you hone in and make sure you're saying yes to the right things, even though your temptation may be to say yes to all those no's out of a fear of missing out. But as well as communicating with yourself, you do need to undoubtedly communicate them with others, especially those that matter in your life. I'm talking about friends, family, siblings, important work colleagues and partners of the like. They deserve to appreciate what matters to you, because this is the thing that's so easy to forget. They've got their own thing going on. They've got their own boundaries, and as we mentioned earlier, they may or may not align with yours. They're so caught up and busy living their own life, they don't necessarily appreciate what's going on with yours. So you need to communicate your boundaries to them. You need to say what is okay and what is not okay. Now, you don't need to explain yourself to them, although often you will want to explain yourself to them, especially if it's someone that you care about, especially if it's someone that you care about and on the surface, the boundary may affect them or impact them. The 4th step of this process is that you need to stick to these boundaries. If someone else comes and tries to trample over them, you need to hold firm and be stubborn. Communicate with them how that's not okay. You need to do a little bit of pushback to make sure that they respect your boundaries, even if it's something that they can't understand. But again, it comes back to you, because you have to take ownership here. You have to continue to have conversations with yourself so you remain consistent, so you stick to the boundaries you set. Final part to this process is simple. Take care of yourself. Setting boundaries is one thing. Committing and being stubborn with them is another. But you still need to continue to fill your own cup on a daily basis. Eat well, live well, be healthy, fill your world with joy. All of these things help you remain focused on what matters most to you. It will keep you gravitated toward those hell yeses. And so long as you gravitate and center and live a life around those hell yeses, you'll find it ever easier to say no. And it will keep those boundaries that are so important to your world intact. By setting boundaries, you can achieve a better whole life balance and increase your productivity. But it goes much deeper than mere productivity and performance. When you set clear boundaries, you reduce the amount of stress that comes from feeling so overwhelmed and overworked. By prioritizing your time and energy, you can focus on what's most important and feel more in control. Setting boundaries can also have a positive impact on your mental health. When you take care of yourself and prioritize your needs, you're less likely to experience burnout or other mental health issues. By setting boundaries, you can actually increase your productivity. When you have a clear sense of what you need to do and when you need to do it, you can work more efficiently and effectively. Setting boundaries can also improve your relationships with others. When you communicate your needs and expectations clearly, you're more likely to have healthy, respectful interactions with colleagues, friends, family members, and more. Ultimately, setting boundaries can lead to greater overall satisfaction in your life. When you feel in control of your time and energy, you're more likely to feel fulfilled and happy in both your personal and professional worlds. Again, it guides you towards those hell yeses and empowers you to say no to everything else. Having watched this video, we hope you appreciate how important setting clear boundaries are, both for yourself and for others. When it comes to your personal growth and development, your ever-evolving self, boundaries play a truly essential role. So right now, I have a challenge for you. And it's to take a step back and think about what matters to you. This entire journey begins with appreciating what your priorities are. So what are they? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a thumbs up so other like-minded souls can find and watch this video. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel for more anti-hustling advice. You may also want to subscribe to the No Hustle Huddle newsletter, where we send direct anti-hustling tips, hacks, and everything else to your inbox each week for free. Finally, leave a comment below sharing your biggest takeaway. I'd love to hear about the boundaries that you personally set, possibly the boundaries you struggle to stick to. I'd love to hear them. Thanks for watching, and indeed, thanks for being you.